Good morning. I hope you're excited for lesson number 2. As you can see, we'll be graphing in the second form today, which is called Vertex Form. And so what I've actually done is I've also made a little chart for you of the A value with that parent graph pattern. So depending on what your A value is, you'll move up or down a certain value. Remember, it was stretched or compressed depending on the A value. So the A values that are bigger than 1, right here in the black and the green column, that is stretched. These A values, 1/2 and 1/3, those are compressed. And so I'll be referencing this as we go, but just remember, you're always basing it off of that parent pattern, which is here in purple. The parent pattern is in purple. And so if A was 2, all of these values are doubled. If A was 3, all of these values are tripled. And A was 1/2, so they're all cut in half. A was 1/3, so they're all cut into a third. So I'm gonna leave that over here. Yes, you won't really get to see the fish much today, but that'll be all right. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. There you go. Okay. So the second form that we're going to talk about today is vertex form. And if you understood standard form, if not, go watch the videos again or ask me questions. But if you understood standard form, this form should be so much easier. This should be like a 10-minute clip. All right, so vertex form. On your notes, okay, there's a spot there. It's on the second page. Vertex form is y equals, and then you've got A, parentheses, x minus h quantity squared plus k. So there is your vertex form. And A, H, and K all do different things to the graph. The A value does the same thing that the A value did in standard form. If it's positive, your graph is opening up. If it's negative, your graph is opening down. If A is bigger than 1, it's stretched. If A is less than 1 and bigger than 0, it's compressed, okay? So A does the exact same thing. H, what we'll notice is a horizontal shift. So it takes that parabola and it moves it either left or right. Whatever the H value is how much the graph moves. And then K is your vertical shift. So the K will shift your graph up or down, however many values the K is. And so you should see that happening as we graph them. But the only kind of tricky part with this one is that in this general vertex form, inside the parentheses, it's x minus h. So if my h value was, let's say, 3, let's say it said x minus 3 inside there. Let's kind of just go with an example like that. What is the actual h value? Because it's x minus 3. H itself is actually a positive 3, so that would be shifting your graph in a positive 3 direction. But if it said x plus 3 inside that set of parentheses, then it's actually that plus sign came from it being x minus a negative 3. Because when you subtract a negative, you add the opposite. So that plus sign means that your original h value is actually a negative. So it would be shifting 3 units to the left instead. So h is opposite. K, however, it is what it is. If this is a plus 4, you're shifting the graph 4 units up. Plus 4, shifting the graph 4 units up. K, it is what it is, but h is opposite. So back to the notes, your vertex then. So this is vertex form, which means your vertex, you should just be able to look at the equation and know what your vertex is. And then you know what the A value does to the graph, plot your vertex, use your parent graph pattern for the sides. There's no little formula that you have to use to find the vertex like we did in standard form. This one's very straightforward. So your vertex is actually going to be HK. Whatever the H value is, whatever the K value is, that's your vertex. But remember, H is opposite. And then your axis of symmetry, if you recall from the last lesson, is wherever it's cutting the parabola in half, which is on the x value of the vertex. So in this case, the x value of the vertex is that h value. So the equation of your axis of symmetry will be x equals whatever the h is. Okay? All right, so if we look at example 3, y equals negative, like a 1 there, times the quantity x plus 3 squared plus 4. Oh, I didn't mean to make that other example up just like this one, but anyways it is. So the negative there, that's like your a value, a negative 1. So that is opening the graph down because it's negative. But the 1 means that it's also following that parent graph pattern. So we're going to be using the purple column. And so, let's do that. Yeah, there we go. All right, so first of all, your vertex, what is the h value? The h value is negative 3. And so that is the x value of your vertex. The k value is that positive 4. And so that is the y value of your vertex. So your vertex is the point negative 3, 4. And so then you can plot that. And then because we knew the a value was negative, that is opening our graph down. And it is negative 1. So the vertex was negative 3, 4. A is negative 1. So we're following this purple pattern here, but upside down. So if a is positive, you're going up. If a is negative, you're going down. So from the vertex, over 1, down 1. From the vertex, over 2, down 4. From the vertex, over 3, 1, 2, 3, down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it's symmetrical, so it's same on the opposite side. Over 1, down 1. Over 2, down 4. Over 3, down 9. And there's your parabola. So, like I said, vertex form is much simpler. Requires a lot less work than the standard form did because you should just be able to look at your equation and know what the vertex is. We were also asked to label the vertex in the axis of symmetry. So there's our vertex, negative 3, 4, and then the axis of symmetry is the line that's cutting your parabola in half. And so then that is the line x equals negative 3. So a lot less work with that one, which I know we all love that. All right, the next example, example 4. Y equals 1/2 times the quantity x minus 2 squared minus 3. So always start with your vertex. This is vertex form, okay? And so your h value and your k value. H is opposite, so it looks like a negative 2. So your h value is actually positive 2. It's x minus the h value, and the h value here is 2. So we've got 2, and the k value is negative 3. So there's my vertex, 2, negative 3. 2, negative 3. Got it? Okay. And then the a value is 1/2. First of all, it's positive, so our graph is opening up. And secondly, it's a fraction, less than 1, so it's getting compressed. And then we're going to be using the red column over here for the sides of the parabola. So the vertex, 2, negative 3, opening up, but compressed by a factor of 1/2. So over 1, up half. Over 2, normally 2 squared is 4, but you're only going up half that amount. Over 3, normally you go up 9, but we're cutting that in half, so up 4 1/2. You could go over 4 up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But again, really 3 points on the sides are all that I would need to see that you got the pattern correctly. So over 1 up a half, over 2 up 2, over 3 up 4.5, over 4 up 8. Connect your sides. And, kind of missed it there. There's your parabola. And then your vertex was the point 2, -3. And your axis of symmetry is the line cutting that parabola in half, which was x equals 2. And there's your parabola. Done. So this one was much simpler than standard form. Again, paragraph pattern, as long as you can get this first part memorized and understand what the A value does to that, it should be a lot simpler. So in the notes and that practice page, examples C and D are in Vertex Form, so go ahead and try those. If you notice on D, there's no K value. So if H was the horizontal shift and K is the vertical shift, if there's no K value, your graph just doesn't shift up or down. So basically, the shifting part is if your parabola is always starting at the origin, and then the H is what's shifting it left or right, and the K is what's shifting it up or down. So it's taking that parent graph and saying, well, hey, let's shift it this way or this way. Okay, that's what H and K do to it, and then the A will stretch or compress. So try those. Again, if you have questions, put them in the comments or send me an email, and good luck. Have a great day.